Somebody at our show brought up we should be doing the Forrest Gump soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because that is perfect.
That is a roadmap of popular American music from 1956 to 1980.
We should just be doing that. We should have a Forrest Gump show.
You should. So we should. Dude, I think that there
Do you
should
think
be.
we could get Bucky to play Forrest?
Oh, I don't think Bucky's tall enough or smart enough to play.
Can he run? He can run.
He can run.
We just do that.
Hair flowing.
We just tell him, run, Bucky, run.
Bucky,
and he
run.
leaves the theater, and he's done. That's like at the beginning. And then we just have him pop back in at the end.
I don't know, Bucky.
At the end with the beard.
He's got less time now that he's all righteous with Bill Medley. You know,
Yeah.
they're doing 6 months next year in Vegas.
Okay.
They're doing like I want to say it's like March, April, May, and then they're taking the summer off and they're coming back September, October, November.
Still, he's got room for Gump. There's always room for Gump.
And there is always room for Gump. But see, that's my point, dude. Like, all right. So when I first came to this town, my first year was 92 or 93. I was, 13, 14 years old. As time went by, I remember Andy Williams had just moved here. All right, the Welk was just getting ready to open, and they had the Lawrenceville Orchestra, and they had Joanne Castle and the Lennon Sisters, and all and it was before the original four, the two older had retired. It was before the younger, before Mimi came on. So this was like the original four older Lennon Sisters, and there was just a buzz. There was a huge buzz in town. Well, those people. My grandparents, that's how I discovered this place. Yeah. All right, those people are either passed away or they're too old to travel anymore. All right. Well, those people grew up listening, watching Lawrence Welk on TV and watching Andy Williams and all that stuff. And I met Andy several times. I interviewed. I loved Andy. Mm-hmm. Andy was awesome. Just a great, great dude. But the people who were that demographic that my grandparents were when they were coming here, those people didn't grow up on Andy Williams.
Yeah,
or
that's what I say. You got to look at our average age and look at what they were doing in high school. That's the music you remember.
All right. So if you have a 75-year-old person, okay. You take away 45 years to when they're 30. All right. So that's what, 1971, 72?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So go back 5 years from that and put them in their mid-20s when they're still really listening to pop music. You got the Beatles. You got the Stones. You got the Byrds.
Got Journey. I'm going to keep bringing it up.
Got to bring it up. Here I'm trying to talk about Black Sabbath and your Journey. But that's my point, man. These people grew up. The people that are old people now, that's what they grew up on. I see the faces light up when they hear those songs.
That's why Forever Young works.
Exactly.
That's why it's one of the best shows.
I mean, because there's no other show in town where you can hear Brooks and Dunn and Billy Joel and Belle Biv DeVoe and Michael Jackson all in the same show.
Mm-hmm.
Bob
And it
Marley.
makes sense.
And it does. It ties in perfectly. It's exactly where it needs to be. Like, I hope that and those boys that put that show together, they've been in Branson for so long, they know what works.
Right.
And they know what doesn't work.
Right.
And I sit here and say that, and I was at a show the other day, and this lady asked me, "Oh, where are you from?" Yes, ma'am. I live here now. I had my camera bag with me. And she's, "Oh, well, what would you recommend?" And I gave her my, hey, look, I was going to spend I was at the showboat actually. So she said, she's like, "Well, what would you recommend for us?" And I said, "Okay, well, the first thing I need to know, what's your favorite kind of music? What kind of music do you like?" Mm-hmm. And this lady looked at me dead in my face and said, "I love Christmas carols."
Okay.
And I said, "All right." I was like, "Well, based on that, Silver Dollar City's where you need to go." Mm-hmm. I was like, not only do they have stuff to do out there, but they actually have carolers that are going around singing Christmas carols.
You can't get much closer than
exactly. And she said, "Well, I don't know. That's a lot of walking. I'm 70 years old and I've got a bad knee." I'm like, "You know what? They have the little cart." Yeah. Do they really? Yes, ma'am. So as much as I sit here and scream about more Creedence and more Zeppelin and Skinner and this, that, and the other, I've got this little old lady who's right in that target demographic telling me she wants Christmas carols.
There you go.
So, the Rock Ball show, did you see that that's coming, Raiding the Rock Ball? Mm-hmm. All right. I saw it in Vegas. It was excellent. It's the best show that I saw in Vegas. And if they can bring that talent.
Wait. Better than the Righteous Brothers?
Yes. And I told Bucky that. Because it's different. Yeah. Like, Bucky and Bill was like, I love Bucky and Bill's show, but I've seen Bucky sing 1,000 times. Yeah. Like, that's still Bill Medley, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. I love Bill. Bill is funny and he's really cool. And I love that show. but it was an intimate, like, I mean, there were still, you know, it was almost sold out. I think that place held 800 or 900 people. It's almost sold out. And Bucky and Bill and the band, they're all right there. You know, they're right there. And you feel it like they're talking to you. This Rating the Rock Ball show is big and it's spread out and it's more concerty feel. So when they announced that they were bringing that show here to the Starlight for a couple weeks, I'm thinking, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I talked to some folks over there, and they're like, well, we don't know how it's going to go over. But it's going to go over great.
I think it's going to go
they
great.
market it.
I said this for years. I said, you're looking at the wrong demographic. And I've talked to Tim and Dominic about that. And they're heading down the right path here.
Yes.
Like, you need to look at the changing ages and stuff that we have.
Yep.
So.
Well, and Clay, same way. Clay Cooper. Have you seen Clay's show?
Oh, yeah.
Clay adds all those contemporary songs, all those, like, he does Hank Jr., he does Carrie does Adele, like there's so many different ones, and yet Clay is personable enough to win the crowd over. Earlier this year I had a bunch of Cajuns come up and visit. They wanted to go see Clay. Mr. Wayne and Miss Nellie are in their early 70s. Their grandkids, the youngest one is, I think Kate is 5. They loved it, dude. They absolutely loved it. And it was that variety. It was that
It's the variety. That's the key.
It's that different sort of...
This is what I'm saying all the time. The variety shows work. The shows that are all country. The shows that are all...
And see, like, and that stuff works if that's where you market from. Like, you can't go and see, like, Mike Walker, who does Conway. Like, that's a really cool show if you like Conway Twitty. Like, Mike does a great job. He sounds just like Conway. That was Grandma's favorite. Like, I grew up listening, so I know Slow Hand, and I'd love to lay down.
See, it works for that, but I use the argument that even Andy Williams didn't do an Andy Williams show. He did a variety show.
Right.
So I see people that want to do their own show, and I think even Andy Williams did a variety show, and he was Andy Williams.
Right. And you have to be a special kind of person to say, I want this to be all about me.
I can't do it.
All about what I'm... See, I can't do it.
I got approached before. I've had people come to me and say, hey, we have this opening at this theater, so-and-so wants to back you. I've gone to meetings. I'm like, I can't do it because I don't see the appeal of it.
Right.
Like, I would want to host the Christopher James Variety Show. So if anybody wants to do the Christopher James Variety Show...
His name is Christopher James, and he's a host.
It's a shoo-in.
Right there.
Let's do that.
It's perfect. Dude, I feel the
Call
same.
me.
Feel the same way about the radio show.
I'm happy with the show.
About the radio show, like...
Yeah.
When Bucky left to go to Vegas, I said, well, I guess we can just wait and do it whenever, Bucky's home or whatever. And they're like, no. They're like, you can just do it. I'm like...
Yeah, I remember I came set it with
yeah,
you.
I'm like... I'm not all about me, Hey, the Josh Clark show. No. Like, I just like to have fun and, like, I mean...
That's what I like to do in our show. Like, I like to make it about the other. I try to do things to integrate the other people and kind of poke fun at them and stuff like that. But,
Well, we both know that we're very humble despite our massive egos.
There you go. All right.